What's up, guys? It's your boy Texas Gaming here, and welcome back to another Roblox video. Today we are in Hurricane Remastered. I already have a wave forming in the Gulf, borderline Gulf, and already there is tropical storm watches and hurricane watches, so we can go ahead and kind of get a representation on where this storm is going to go. It is forecasted to reach Category 5 status. So keep in mind. So you have Invest 91L. You have Hurricane Arlene, which has rapidly intensified lately. And we're looking at a possible Mexico landfall. Currently have hurricane watches, tropical storm watches going all the way up to the Texas-Louisiana border. And so you have tropical storm watches just north of Corpus Christi. Hurricane Arlene already at 165 miles per hour and strengthening. It looks like we're going to get a hurricane landfall. Meanwhile, you have Hurricane Bertha, 95 mile per hour winds. Arlene trying to already set a precedent for an incredibly powerful hurricane. Just 5 miles off from 200. And there it is, 200 miles per hour. With Hurricane Arlene, 205 now. Can she reach 210 before landfall? No. Does not look like it. So Arlene makes landfall in South Mexico, and then she's gonna kind of stall as she begins to weaken. Now you have Bertha, which is forecasted, which has yet to become a major hurricane. Well, it made landfall as a Cat 3, and now it's forecasted with Arlene gone. Now is forecasted to possibly make landfall around a Category 4 status. However, it looks like Bertha may even exceed that and go beyond expectations. Bertha currently 155. She more likely will not surpass Arlene's 205. But nevertheless, she will represent a big impact, even if she makes landfall around 165 miles per hour. So 165, 160, 165, and that is it. 165 miles per hour is her maximum that Bertha gets. Here's Cristobal. Not really much is forecasted of it. It is expected to stay with below Category 5 status. Possibly go to stay Category 4, but eventually it is expected to weaken to a Category 1. As you can see, the spaghetti plots, they don't really know where its general location is going to go. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and get a new storm in here. So currently we have 2 areas of low pressure. Cristobal um, is probably going to flirt with Category 5, maybe. Well, Category 5 needs to be 155 miles, needs at least 160. To become a Category 5, a hurricane needs to exceed 157 miles per hour. Cristobal is not doing that. Cristobal only has winds of around 145 and is going into an area despite having very, very warm sea surface temperatures. Cristobal is going to, and then there you can see where as we look at the temperature anomalies, you can see where that where you had Arlene and Bertha both go. So yeah. Cristobal, even though it's moving very, very slow, I mean, it could flirt with Category 5. There is no doubt about it. It could flirt with Category 5. But we already have Grace, Debbie, and Ernesto. And Florenta. We have 4 storms already. Cristobal may flirt with Category 5 status as it's going very high northerly. Florenta is expected to make landfall just north of Miami. Not as a very powerful hurricane, though. Ernesto expected to do the exact same thing. Expected to make landfall near Jacksonville. So now that we're getting a little bit of separation, you can kind of see how things are going. So I don't believe Cristobal reached Category 5. You could see here, it did not reach Category 5 status. It stayed at Category 4 the entire way. Debbie forecasted to reach Category 4 status here and then Category 5 later on. Grace expected to reach Category 4 and then Category 5. So we need to get Florenta and Ernesto out of the way. That way we can have a general idea of what Grace and Debbie will be doing. It looks like Debbie will become a Caribbean storm. And based off of some of the spaghetti models, she will she'll go through the entire Caribbean and possibly make landfall somewhere in Central America. Latest spaghetti model shows she will reach Category 5 status but weaken and then struggle to re-intensify. Florenta already a tropical storm. I mean, Florenta pretty much just formed out of nowhere. It was nothing from me. I did not do it with Florenta. Florenta expected to re-intensify back to a Category 4. That is absolutely insane. Meanwhile, Ernesto is gone. Ernesto was eaten by Florenta, which, meanwhile, you could see Florenta's amazingly symmetrical eye as, she is expected to reach Category 4, maybe minimal Category 4. There is one model that says she will reach Category 5 status, but I doubt that. I really doubt she will reach Category 5 status. I mean, she could, in fact, reach it. She has some time. Already 145, 150. She needs 10 more miles per hour to do it. 5 now. And briefly, 160. Can she get 165? 165. All right. So Florenta ties his Bertha with 165 mile per hour maximum sustained winds. Meanwhile, Debbie is trying to break Arlene's record. You keep in mind, Arlene reached 205 miles per hour before making landfall in Mexico. Debbie's already at 195, and Grace is already at 135. There are some However, the spaghetti model is the cone is keeping her as a category 4. There is one model, however, that is putting her at category 5 status. Debbie, already over 200 miles per hour, and she has plenty of time to continue to strengthen. She can, in fact, continue to strengthen. She's already caused over $1 billion in damage. And you can just see how massive her wind field is. She has to keep all of Hispaniola is under a high wind warning. You have hurricane warnings as she is heading south. Grace is 10 miles off from reaching category 5 status. So if she can get those 10 extra miles per hour, she will join Arlene, Bertha, Florenta, and Debbie as major category 5 hurricanes. Debbie had a max sustain of 215 thus far. And it looks like she is weakening. She has dropped from that 215 to 190 now. She is re-strengthening. Nope. Not re-strengthening. 190 miles per hour currently is where she stands. There's very little shear. Sea surface temperatures are over 90 degrees. 200, she could perhaps reach that to maybe at least 205, maybe 210, depending on how she does. There's that 210. Can she retie that 215 mark? She has time. Nope. 215 will be her max. So she surpasses Arlene. Oh, wow. She is forecasted to weaken significantly. And Debbie still is yet to become a category 5. So currently sitting at 145. Debbie, however, is high in Cat 4. Well, mid-range Cat 4. Debbie, on the other hand, has significantly weakened and is forecasted to reemerge across in the Pacific, and re-strengthen back to category 4 before going to Cat 5. So, there's a chance that it could happen. Meanwhile, with Grace, she has been patiently waiting for that category 5 status. Here's the thing. She could possibly get it. Grace is forecasted to meander, and there are some models putting her at category 5 status. It just depends on how strong she is during her meander. The cone, on the other hand, is telling a different story. The cone is saying she will weaken. Meanwhile, Grace is 10 miles off from becoming a category 5. You see, you have here has been consistently putting. And now I'm thinking that is Grace's Grace. This one here is Isaias's. And there it is. Grace is a category 5 hurricane. The 5th of the video. So let's see. Grace has already surpassed Bertha, and Florenta in strength. As they both were maxed out at 165 miles per hour. Hector is also a category 5 hurricane. 180 right now for Grace. And Hector, 165. I'm trying to watch both. 170 for Hector. All right, Hector, 170 max. Grace, 180 right now was her max, as she has stalled moving very, very slowly. So, I do believe that Debbie did weaken. So, Grace only reached 180 max. So, she goes into third. She's the third strongest hurricane thus far. However, Isaias has been here for a while. You have a Jaden here and then Isaias. Isaias. So it appears Jaden is forecasted to make landfall. I'm thinking Jaden will, even if Jaden reaches a 60 miles per hour, 70 whenever it makes landfall, and I believe it is forecasted to. Jaden more likely will become a minimal hurricane when it makes landfall. Meanwhile, Isaias is rapidly intensifying. It is already a Category 3 with 120 mile per hour winds. And meanwhile, Grace is just churning up the area. Is just meandering. She's weak. Only reason she is weakened is land interaction. She's very, very close to that land. And she's sitting over the same spot. Her forward speed is only 2 miles per hour. Jaden is a hurricane now. And it appears they are doing the Fujiwara. They are circling each other. Jaden and Isaias are now circling each other. So, oftentimes, with a Fujiwara, one storm will get sent the other way, or they will be absorbed. And you can see Jaden moving south, and you saw they moved with each other. Jaden going directly south is sent. Meanwhile, models keep pushing, saying, no, Jaden's going to make a turn. Jaden's going to make a turn. No, Jaden is stuck going south. The models do not see Jaden. Don't think Jaden's going to go is going to go direct the way it's going to go. But Jaden just absolutely refusing to do what the models say. Meanwhile, Isaias, 135 mile per hour winds. And, well, it has a chance to reach Category 5 status. Meanwhile, Grace is just continuing to sit in that same spot. Another thing is, earlier you had Hurricane Hector, which was this one, Hurricane Hector. It was they did a final advisory on it, and now it is forecasted to reform. Currently, only a 35% chance to reform, but in the next 7 days, it is 100% chance to reform. Isaias has slowed down and has weakened. Jaden, only 40 miles per hour and dying. Isaias, 120. Forecasted to a lot of models are putting Isaias as a Category 5 hurricane. Grace, well, she temporarily reached Category 5 status. Then now you have Linson now, which instead of Hector, it is Linson because, well, the previous storm no longer exists. It dissipated over South America. And now, temporarily, we had another storm. So both Hector and that one disappeared. Grace currently moving. Oh, there goes that storm. There goes that storm. Isaiah's forecasted to become a major hurricane here soon. While Grace, well, it became a major. We're starting to see some of that former track that of it when it meandered. It came in. It did not hit the coast. It came in, weakened down to Category 4, went down to Category 3, re-intensified, and now is, for a period, went down to Category 2 status. So you can see it appears that there is something over here. There is something in this general area which prevents storms from moving. Grace legitimately stalled. She meandered for quite a while, going very, very slowly, briefly regaining Category 4 status, but inevitably went down to Category 3, to 2, to back to 3, and then now she's weakening. She's currently a Category 2 hurricane, and about to be Category 1. Hurricane. Meanwhile, we have Invest 96L, which is forecasted to form into Tropical Storm Marco. But that is absolutely insane. You can see it reached Category 5 status, and from here to here. And Isaias is now a Category 5 hurricane. $165, tying with Bertha and Florenta. $170, tying with Hector. $175, it is on its own. $180, tying with Grace. Needs 5 to be on its own. And she will stay. It will stay at 180. So it ties with Hurricane Grace, which was this one. The max was 180. So now you have Hurricane Marco and Invest 97L. Marco, it is forecasted to actually weaken. Marco is actually forecasted to weaken here soon. And none of the models are putting it at Category 5 status. We have Tropical Depression 15. So I'm going to shift attention from Marco because it is forecasted to make landfall and pretty much dissipate. Tropical Depression 15 is forecasted to reach some kind of hurricane status, actually. I don't know. It's forecasted to become a hurricane. Earlier it was forecasted to become Cat 4. But yeah. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Marco Cat 4. It could possibly flirt with Category 5 status, but I don't see Marco becoming Category 5. It just does not have the time, and it's too low of strength. It's only 135. And I mean, and then now it's weakening. It's weakening. So we could pretty much toss Marco's chance to become a Category 5 out the window. Meanwhile, Omar is forecast to become a Category 5. There are some models putting it at Category 5 prior to reaching Cancun. Or, especially if Omar can stay out to sea. If it can stay out to sea, it can reach the Gulf and become a Category 5 hurricane. And then you can see the temperature anomalies. Basically, this is where, so many storms have taken up, has upwelled that area. And in shear, well, there is none. Very, very low in shear with this storm. With this. Very, very warm temperatures in the throughout the entire area. Temperature anomalies. You have a lot of scarring in the Caribbean and in Western Gulf. You also have a lot of scarring pretty much over here, and as well as over here in the Pacific. So, meanwhile, Omar, 65-mile-per-hour tropical storm. Marco, meandering. So Marco, tropical storm. Paula, tropical storm. Omar, tropical storm. We have multiple storms nearby. Nana, about to become a hurricane and is forecasted to become a hurricane, but stay category 1 before going back to tropical storm status. You have 2 other lows in the Atlantic. Well, one now. We have a wave, and well, Omar has diminished to a low pressure open wave. Now it's 99L, and well, it's forecast to become a category 4 at best. You have another low pressure has pretty much dissipated. And right now, 48-hour chance for invest 99L is 70%. You have a wave over here. Nope, Omar is back, and it is forecasted to stay a tropical depression, maybe form into a tropical storm for a while, become a hurricane. But right now, Omar is struggling just to stay together. Paula, on the other hand, Omar is now is dissipated. Omar's gone. So we've already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 category 5 hurricanes. So low reforms right around where Omar was. Very, very low, slow forward speed, which should allow it to intensify. The issue is you have Hurricane Paula nearby, which rapidly intensified. And there goes that low pressure. Rebecca, pretty fast moving storm, but very disorganized. A low end tropical storm, only 50-mile-per-hour winds, while Paula is category 3. This we did not see coming. There are some models putting Rebecca as a category 5 and making Paula a category 4 even before landfall into Cuba, putting it as a category 5 and then re-intensifying. It just determines how much. Oh, there goes Rebecca. There's something weird going on. There's something weird going on. I will say that. And you can just see how much temperature anomalies there are. There's still plenty of warm water everywhere. But shear, you have a major area of shear with Hurricane Akeb, or whatever. Meanwhile, the growth potential is very low in the Atlantic, but very high in the Caribbean. I mean, in the Gulf. Meanwhile, maximum strength is just potent. A whole lot of areas where it's just off of the chart. Yeah, Paula 90 and Invest 95L. Paula rapidly intensifying as quickly as possible. They do have her being a category 4 on landfall though. However, she could indeed reach category 5 status. She does have the time, and there are models putting her at category 5 status. And you can just see, we were just talking about it. If a hurricane can enter the Gulf, the growth potential is there for them to absolutely explode. What reason? Not many hurricanes have hit the Gulf. Paula is 5 away from being the 6th, no, the 8th category 5 hurricane. And there she is. .165 thus far. She's tied with Bertha and Florenta. Let's see how much she can strengthen. How much she can strengthen and how much she can become. How strong she become. 165 thus far. She's making a right-hand turn. You can see she's turning towards Florida. She was originally forecasted to make landfall near Louisiana. Now that's not the case. 165 right now. But she's interacting with portions of land. She no longer has that growth potential that she had in the Central Gulf. Right now, 175. Could go higher, depending on how much. 180 right now. She could perhaps reach 200. Maybe even if it's for a temporary moment. Currently at 180, back to 185. Tying. Actually, no storm has reached 185 at landfall. 185. Can she reach 190 miles per hour? Is the question. She just needs 5 to get there. However, one thing I do notice is her forward speed has gone up. Is increasing. 190 now. She's 10 off from 200. Does she have the time? Probably not. Going 10 miles per hour with a forward movement is just not perfect for a storm to really, really get powerful. It appears 190 will be it for Paula. Because once she makes landfall, she's forecasted to weaken. 195, okay. So, in fact, I was wrong. 195 max sustained winds, it looks like, with gusts of over 260. Oh, 200 for a second. So she becomes a 200 max mile per hour hurricane. So you can see she deepened in the Central Gulf and then made a pretty much a right hand turn. Tammy, currently a tropical storm but weakening. Category 4 but weakening. And then you have Valerie, which is expected to become a hurricane, but at this point, let's just go ahead and do that. Valerie has made landfall in that area. But the Atlantic has gone quiet. You have a wave out here which could possibly do something. You have these storms which are experiencing some major wind shear. Todd getting over 20 mile per hour of wind shear. And you can just see how much it's dropping these storms down. How much they are getting sheared apart. you're just seeing how much they're getting sheared apart. Invest 90L becomes Wendy, which could possibly be the last storm of the season. Wind shear is very light, but we will say she's going to be entering an area of higher wind shear. Caribbean currently is the best spot for a storm to try to form, as a lot of the eastern coast is just not ripe for these storms. Wow, wind shear has just dropped off. There's a big spot just off of the eastern seaboard, right over here. And there's another spot right around where Wendy is. You have Tropical Depression 22. Could possibly put us into Roman letters, but to be honest, I don't think that it could happen. Wendy is an 85-mile-per-hour hurricane. Alpha. So we're now in the Greek letters. Wendy is forecasted to become a category 4. But currently Wendy sadly won't be able to get that. Wind shear returns, and very quickly you see that the storm becomes sheared apart. Still a hurricane, still packing a lot of winds, but she is weakening very, very rapidly. Eventually, wind shear dies off and allows Wendy to reform into a hurricane. Alpha dissipates fairly quickly. Wendy tropical storm. Back to a hurricane. And you can see now Wendy has regained her symmetrical shape. She's now that circular buzzsaw shape that you often see with hurricanes. Wind shear is very light. She's a category 2 hurricane. Sadly, wind shear returns. She just barely began forming an eye when just the wind shear returns and just shearing her apart. However, her forward speed is 34 miles per hour. Eventually, the shear dies off, allowing Wendy to re-strengthen into a category 2. However, she'd already began her transition to an extratropical cyclone. And there it is. So I want to thank everyone so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.